morning. How are you this morning? Wonderful, great, good. So glad to see all of you. Lovely, beautiful faces. So I just got back. Well, I didn't just get back, but I practically just got back from Burning Man. I was there for 8 days, kind of. I mean, it took us 16 hours to get to Burning Man, which means I was actually up for a full 24 hours, getting in at Monday at 4 o'clock in the morning and then having to set up camp was really interesting. So Burning Man, it's undescribable. My word for it was epic. It's this massive festival that's about 1.5 hours north of Reno if there's no traffic, or 10 hours north of Reno if you're in Burning Man traffic. And it's absolutely in the worst place you'd ever want to go to. It's in the middle of a desert that's not just a desert. It's so deserty that nothing grows there. Nothing. It is a plain that nothing has grown on. It is alkaline, which means that it's not normal dust. It's dust that has kind of it's alkaline, and so you need to counteract it with vinegar. Like if you wash anything that has Burning Man dust on it, it just looks like you just kind of mushed it around. Nothing comes off, including on your body. It doesn't come off of your body either. The dirt, the sand, the dust. No, not at all. So why would people want to go to this crazy desert where it's super hot in the daytime and super cold, and there's sandstorms where it's like white out, you can't see 2 feet in front of you? Why? Why would you want to do that? Well, I had to know. I definitely had to know. And I admit to you that I would go back. So Burning Man is the 4th largest city in Nevada when it happens. 70,000 people converge on this place to create a city, and it's literally created out of nothing. Semis, U-Hauls, people bring in everything. And it practices radical self-reliance, which means whenever I had to go with a week's worth of food, and so basically I had to prep for a couple of months to make sure I would be prepared to be able to live in the conditions, because the whole idea is that you don't plan on leaning on anybody else while you're there. So there's a lot of prep that's involved, like goggles for daytime, goggles for nighttime, some kind of mask for the dust storm, and lots and lots of vinegar water to get the dust off of you. And plenty of regular water to be drinking, a lot of water while you're there. So I went with a U-Haul truck worth of stuff so I could be prepared, and I wasn't fully prepared. I just have to let you know this. It was something that I can't even describe. It was so amazing. And it seems like, well, why would this be so amazing? This festival that they have is based on some principles. One of the principles that I just told you was radical self-reliance. Another one is radical inclusion, which means anyone may be a part of Burning Man. Everyone is welcome. And that's kind of like what we practice here, right? The beautiful thing about Burning Man, it's not just a code. It's not just an idea. It's a way of being. Radical inclusion, which means everybody, no matter how you're dressed or not dressed, or how you are being in the world, you're loved and appreciated for who you are. Now, this was something that I experienced whenever I got out of the car. I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, we're stuck in a row of traffic, not moving. And so we get out of our vehicles, kind of checking out what's going on, and you meet the car in front of you and the car behind you, trying to figure out, anybody have any word what's going on? And people start laughing and handing out gifts to each other, and getting to know each other, and just being like a community. It's like I step out of the car at 2 o'clock in the morning and I have an instant community right there. Now, if we were in traffic here on the freeway in California and you stepped out of your car and you tried to meet the person in front and in back of you, can you imagine what kind of result you might get? It wouldn't be the same. Yeah, not so much. And that was just the beginning of it. As I mentioned, there were some gifts, right? They call it a gift economy. It's not a bartering economy. And this is what I thought. Oh, I need to bring something to give away so I can get something in return. No, it's a gift economy. You give things, you bring things to give away just to give away things. And when you receive just to receive. Now imagine that. Everywhere you go, everything is free. The music is free, the bars are free, the food places are free, everything is free. And somebody out there sponsored this in order for me to receive it for free. Can you imagine if we lived our life like that? Can you imagine if I just decided to give everything away for free? And if I needed something, I could just wander around in my community and I would find it. Well, that totally happened to me because I didn't really get the whole costume thing, or I guess they're called outfits. So everybody likes to wear outfits because it's also an emphasis of creativity and personal expression. And so my camp, everybody in our camp, most people in our camp decided to wear a theme outfit. So the theme was carnival. So we had, a tiger, we had a lion tamer, we had all kinds of outfits. And I knew on Tuesday that I wanted an outfit. Not only because I wanted to be like creative and have fun and ridiculousness with my expression, but it was Tutu Tuesday. And everybody was wearing a tutu. Men, women, it didn't matter. It was like the thing to do is wear a Tutu Tuesday. And so I went on an adventure. Now this is what's really cool about Burning Man. Everybody is set up in camps. Like I said, you have a camp that you affiliate with, but your camp is required to give something. So not only personally do you give something, whatever you want, you could give a hug, a blessing, you could give out a gift, but your camp is supposed to provide something. So you can just leave your camp and wander around. Imagine 70,000 people, imagine how many camps there are, and find something to receive. And so I found 3 boutique places, by the way, giving away clothes. We had clothing exchanges. You could take as many clothes as you want, or you could give as many clothes as you want. So I went to 3 different boutiques, and on the 3rd one, I did find a tutu. I did. I had my tutu for Tutu Tuesday. I got a little velvet top. Oh yeah, it was great. And I do pictures. I have some pictures. I did post my pictures on Facebook, but the thing about Burning Man is it's mostly to be experienced, first of all. And the second thing is my phone is my camera, and as you know, phones are expensive, and the dust rusts everything. And so they encourage you to keep your phone in a Ziploc baggie so that way it doesn't get damaged. So when it wasn't dusty, which was not very much of the time, I did take a couple of pictures. So I have a couple of pictures. There is one with me on a tutu and a piece of artwork with my little cat monster Boo, which I take with me everywhere. So it was really, really amazing. And the other thing that I really loved about Burning Man was this emphasis on creativity and expression. The art is everywhere. The willingness to be non-judgmental is everywhere. Everybody dresses. Imagine just like there was a dressing, like a clothing explosion, and then people just put on clothes. That's kind of what it looks like at Burning Man. There is no rhyme or reason. There is no order. There is no way to do things. Any way is accepted. Stripes and plaids. Oh, and more. And fur and velvet. And polka dots and a hat, yes. And naked too, yeah. There was everything. but what was really interesting, I learned from a girl who was, she was like, she told me, she said, I really love this place because I can take off my shirt and it's not going to be like there's paparazzi of creepy people around, which is what a lot of places are. If you go into any place that has a clothing optional, a lot of times it's not necessarily about just being who you are. It's about other people trying to peek in and find out. And she felt like this is just where if I feel like I want to do that, I can. And I don't feel like I have a bunch of people trying to take photos of me or trying to do something. I could just be. And that was another thing about it. I could just be. I really liked it. I really liked the idea of living in a community where everybody could just be without being judged, being welcomed as a family member. Wherever I went, a line was an opportunity to get to know people. So no matter where I was sitting, standing, being, everybody was introducing themselves to me. And it was global. I met people from Germany, China. I met somebody from Iraq. I met somebody from all of many, many European countries. And I was so surprised to see how many people from around the world came to this festival. And I talked to a lot of them. I said, why did you come all this way? Why? And they wanted to be a part of something that was about inclusivity. They wanted to go to a place where they could just be and be loved. And it reminded me of the community that we have here, but on a much larger scale, a much bigger level. And it made me stirred. It stirred me with a desire for experiencing that on the whole planet. And it doesn't have to be like Burning Man, but it has to be that essence of community that's about loving people where they're at. Some of the beauty of Burning Man is the artwork. They have this amazing, the way the city is set up, it's like a clock. So there's a circle. Right in the center of the clock is the man. And he's like 100 feet tall. He's huge and lit up. So you can see the man pretty much from everywhere except in a sandstorm. So there's the man, right? And then from 10 to 2 all the way around, that's the city. So the city is like that, and then they have kind of streets that are spokes, and they're labeled like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then the other consensual rings are in alphabetical order. So you could be like, we were at 7 and Geek, which is 7 and G, so we knew that that's where our address was. You can find people according to that. As long as you know where the man is, you know where your address is, you're good. Well, the other part of the area they call the playa, the open playa, and out there it may go, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 miles out, and there's actually an edge. They have a fence, a perimeter fence around the edge, and there's pieces of artwork that people have worked on all year. Gorgeous. Some of the world's most famous artists promote their artwork here at Burning Man. And so you can go, and during the day or at night, you can go and explore. Now, you don't have necessarily an address for the art pieces. Like, you have to just go find things. Every day is an adventure. Every night is an adventure. Because the day art pieces and the night art pieces are completely different, even if it's the same piece of artwork. So some of the beauty of going to see the artwork is that it is captivating, soul-stirring, and it's meant to be interactive. It's not just meant to be art, it's meant to be art that's experienced. There's 2 things at Burning Man every year that they have, that the actual Burning Man committee provide, and one is the man. The second thing is the temple. The temple is a holy place, and they had this beautiful arched wooden structure that arched its way down and kind of looked like a cornucopia, and in the center it had these beautiful wire trees. And when we went to the temple, I didn't quite get what it was at first. I thought, oh, this is cool. Well, it's a place for people to honor those who have passed, or to express anger or sorrow at things that are in transition. There was a lot going on at the temple. People came, and we went on the third day, and there was like journals where you could write things on. And when we got to the temple, there was this huge sandstorm. And when you get to a sandstorm, you can't go anywhere. You just stay in place because you can't see in front of you. And so I sat there and I read this one journal. And in it was words about this guy who his best friend had committed suicide. And how it touched his heart, and how he was so sad that he didn't understand or recognize the signs. And he didn't tell him how much he appreciated him, and how much he had wished he had found this festival to bring his friend to, so he would know that no matter how he was cared for and loved. And then I flipped the page, and it was a letter from a girl to her father who had passed on, and how she was touched by his incredible courage, and how he went through his cancer, and how she missed him and wished he were there. And so I had all of these pages in this journal, and I was reading them, and it touched my heart and my soul, because it was a place for people to just express. There was anger, there was sadness, there was remorse, there was pride. A son also writing to his father about how proud his father would have been of him, on how much he's done in the world. And this was all for us to take in. It wasn't just these journals that were sitting there for people to write in. The walls were plastered with pictures. You could write on the walls. There was people's names, inspirational quotes. There was anger, like F cancer. There was all kinds of things. And it was this beautiful expression of people to come together to express who they are and what they're going through. And I was seeking that. I wanted to have a place like that for us, you know. And I thought, this is one of those kinds of places. On the last day, on Sunday, which I wasn't able to watch, they burned the temple down, and they burned everything that's in it. Everything. People brought clothes from their loved ones who had passed on. People brought different articles of newspapers and pictures and photographs and jewelry and stuff that they offered up at the temple, and the last day they burned it down. And it's kind of like a prayer. It's like a release. And I thought about all those pages in the journal, and I thought about how this week we're talking about discovering yourself, and discovering yourself through journaling. And it made me realize and recognize how important it is for us to express ourselves. So I want to encourage you that if you have anything that you're going through, go ahead and pick up a journal and start writing some things down. There's a whole bunch of techniques that you can use to express what you're going through. And you can start about writing where you are in life at this moment. You can start writing a stream of consciousness where you just let it go and you don't care what's going on. You could start a dialogue with your inner child if you wanted to. And all of these are techniques for expressing who we are. I think so many of us have inside a desire to be heard, a desire to express, a desire to get out the emotions and the feelings, and I think that our society often represses that. Like, it's not okay to be mad, it's not okay to be angry, it's not okay to have a bad day. Well, it is. You can have a bad day, and you can be feeling sick, and you can be upset, and you're still going to be a member of this community. You're still going to be loved for who you are. You're still going to be loved, even if your body size is different than everybody else's body size. Even if you have funky red hair, or you wear crazy cat socks under your boots. It doesn't matter, because who you are is valuable. And so I think that's the thing that I really learned at Burning Man, was that radical inclusion. The deep love for each and every person on this planet. The deep love for personal creative expression. The humor of being a part of something that is so great and so wonderful. And So I have to say, the humor, that was something also that kind of touched me. I have one little quick story. They have art cars at Burning Man, like 500 art cars, and a lot of them, they're open to the public, which means somebody's driving around the art car and you can just jump on, and they just meander around the streets all the time, and you just jump on, jump off. Many of them have clubs or DJs spinning, like they're double-decker bus types things, and so on the top there's like this huge club dance party going on, and so you just throw your bike on the lower level and then you go up to the upper level and you can go out clubbing, right? So at midnight one night, I was like, I want to go on an art car because I have not been in an art car. So I run, I catch an art car, somebody throws my bike on, I go upstairs, I'm dancing, I'm going to the club, this is great. And then all of a sudden I look around, we're not in the city anymore. We're way out in the middle of the playa, out in the middle of nowhere, right? I'm like, uh-oh, we're kind of far from home. And then he pulls up and there's a big circle of other art cars, and there's this DJ playing on one of the other art cars, and that DJ, like, there's a huge crowd of people dancing and loving it, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get off here. So I get off, dance for a while, meet some new people, have a great time. Then I think, it's probably kind of late, I better head back at who knows what time in the morning. So I start riding my bike, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, riding my bike back home, which is very far away, and I'm like, wow, what is that thing out there in the distance? And it's a white blob, and so I get closer, and the white blob is a piece of art. It's a saltine cracker box. And next to it is a big lit up Campbell's soup container, and I'm like, oh, that's random. But then I noticed there's a whole bunch of people coming out of the saltine cracker box, and I'm like, what is going on there? So 2, 3, 4 in the morning, who knows, I'm riding up to it. I'm like, what's this? And he said, oh yeah, they're giving out soup. So, and I'm like, hey, I better get some soup. So I pull in, get my soup on, eat my soup with a couple of people, and then I notice that there's another art car, and it's a dragon. So I get on the dragon art car, and his name is Fluffy, by the way, and he breathes fire. And so Fluffy the dragon, he actually drove me all the way home to my camp. So it was, it was funny, and it's ridiculous and silly, but that's kind of like what Burning Man is. It's a place where you get to go out and be on an adventure. You don't know what's going to happen, and the most random, silly, ridiculous things happen because everybody's out there to give whatever they have to give. So it's kind of embracing life for the fullest and being willing to just step out of my comfort zone and into a new expression of life. So I want to ask you, where in your life are you not stepping out? Where are you being confronted by the box of society? And what areas are you willing to step out and to go and embrace this adventure of life? So I want to encourage you to do that, because this year we're talking about taking the leap. So where can you take the leap in? Because you might just discover yourself a little bit more. You might discover that there's some humor, there's some creativity, there's something about you that's really freaking special. And other people want to know it. And they're never going to get to know you unless you're out there being you. So I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to step into the fullness of your beingness and to be the incredible expression of the divine that you were meant to be. Because I think we can make life here like Burning Man is at a festival. I think we can practice here, not only in the center, but in our community at large, radical inclusion, where we can practice gifting of ourselves just to give. And we can also practice receiving just to receive, where there's no expectation of return, just to receive. And I think if we practice those 3 things, I think we can change this world. I think we can be in a better place, and we can create a world that works for everyone, which is part of our vision, part of our mission. And so are you willing to try something new this week? Yeah. I want you to keep your eye out and be willing to step out. Try and do something new. Try journaling if you haven't done that. I encourage you to do that. I will. I know Lisa will. So thank you for listening to my talk. I didn't even say all the stuff in my talk, but thank you for listening to my story about Burning Man. I'm really grateful to have shared this experience, and I'm grateful that you were gracious and loving and kind to our beautiful guest speakers, Reverend Elizabeth and Kathy, and I know that they were extraordinary. And I celebrate all of you. I see you with new eyes because of where I went, and I appreciate your support in allowing me to go on this adventure. So may we all be adventurers in our life. Amen. Blessed be.